All right, so to all my people who talk and sitting with me and speak about weather as I make my way through the day, we have a good opportunity to sort of break down what we're looking at as we see a break from some of this crazy weather. Remember, we started out in the 60s. Right now, under these clear skies, the atmosphere is recharging as we get ready for the next round of severe weather. We saw that low pressure push off to the east and produce a whole heck of a lot of tornadoes, hail, and some destructive weather as it makes its way off to the east. And we're seeing the calm conditions right behind it. The temperature change over the last 24 hours, good 40 degrees, and we're cooling off as those winds start to turn out of the northeast. That's the indication that the cold front is pushing past us, and we're going to begin that prefrontal warming, looking for the moisture. 67 right now in San Angelo, everybody else in a combination of 50s and those 60s, but we're cooling off pretty quick right now. That's because there's a lot of dry air letting things cool off pretty rapidly. Now, everybody's been asking about the solar eclipse as well, and we're taking that into account as we look at the next round of severe weather. 67 in San Angelo, 62 in Sterling City, 59 down there in Junction. Now we're starting to see some more of those warmer conditions to the north and those cooler conditions to the south, but we're looking for the return of moisture and those warm temperatures in the southeastern region, and that's where we're going to see a majority of the solar eclipse. We'll get to it. Of course, those dew points are an array of 20s all the way up into the 40s, while those dew points have nearly doubled over the last 24 hours. So we're looking for the return of this moisture as that low pressure continues to push off to the east. This is the high pressure we're dealing with, and that's what's going to keep us in those 80s. This low pressure pushes its way in by the weekend. That's where we're looking for the cloud cover. Watch how it separates as this gradient loosens. It's going to fill, and it's keeping these conditions fairly interesting as we continue to see the southwesterly flow become widespread. That's going to be a lot of cloud cover, but we're looking for the PM thunderstorm setup. This is where the moisture is going to start to return by this weekend. Look how strong the concentration gets. Then we see that stark delineation forming the dry line again. That's that low pressure system wrapping off towards the west. Now the solar eclipse is going to kick off around 12:15, and then we're going to hit the 97% totality around 1:34. Now as we make our way towards the end of it around 2 to 3 o'clock, we're still seeing those conditions in those 80s. It's still going to get pretty dark. Everybody's been asking me how fast the temperature drop is going to be. Pretty gradual, but significantly noticeable. We'll see. Remember last year we did see a good drop in temperatures. Here's the path of totality. Now remember where those storms are pushing off towards. And now when we look at a closer view of the Concho Valley, you can see parts like Junction and Brady will be in the 100%, while here in San Angelo, off to the west near Ozona, we're still in those 90s. Still going to get a good view of it, so no matter where you're at in the Concho Valley, you've got a good seat. Front row seats, really. The satellite right now showing you where the colder conditions are starting to sink in. But take a good look at the size of this storm. It's still circulating. I think it's cut off. We call this barotropic, vertically stacked, where it's just running out of energy. This is forcing that high pressure where the low is making its way in from the west. This model data is so big it can't even fit on the screen right now. This storm is circulating. These lows are in the 40s right now, but it's still producing a lot of snow. Very cold, while that high pressure is going to keep us in the 80s. So tonight, we're dropping down into the 40s under this high pressure, still with those calm winds. Then tomorrow, another 40-degree run as the atmosphere starts to prime itself for the next round of severe weather. The day of the eclipse is actually going to be a prime day to see a lot of those clouds start to make the return, but we're still in the 80s. By the time those storms show up around Tuesday, Wednesday next week, we're going to see those lows drop all the way down into those 50s, while those highs are in those 70s with a good opportunity to see some of that cloud cover. Stay tuned. I'll mark the break. You're watching KSAN News.